The Pack picked up a big win on Sunday, the Badgers blew a big one in Lincoln, and the Brewers look to close off their season on a high note. All that and more, Sports Talk Live is next. Not Sports Center. We're not that qualified. I'm Chance Dickman.
I'm Noey Anderson.
I'm Sam Breezy.
We're going to kick it off today with something that we're all passionate about. As you can see with our uniform choice, the Packers picked up a humongous win this Sunday against New Orleans Saints, who are still defeated. No wins for the Saints. Noe, what did you pick up from this game?
I think the biggest thing that I want to talk about right away is everyone was a little scared right away when Greg Jennings had to come out, but we really didn't need him as bad as we thought. We have Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Randall Cobb, who caught 20 passes for 215 yards for the whole game, 3 touchdowns. Unfortunately, Saints lost another one. It was one of their best games of the season, but unfortunately the Pack got him right at the end. Dom Capers is playing his D with a ton of young rookies, playing conservatively, and they're still in need of hitting their peak. So,
what I was really pleased with about this game on Sunday was that Jordy Nelson was brought back into the game, which I liked a lot. You saw him getting a lot more targets than he has the past few games, which was great for this team, because once when he gets going, then the offense opens up, start running the ball, hit other targets and whatnot. The Packers did get screwed with another call, the whole touchdown with Marquise Colston, which was a bad call, obviously. But then, they came back, made up for it, and then they kept on throwing the ball well. Everything seemed to be flowing better.
Yeah,
it felt like,
definitely.
It was just it was a better game than it has been. Yeah.
That's what I was going to touch on as well. It was one of those things where the referees are just not on the Packers' side this season. It seems like you mentioned the Colston push-off, and then in the fourth quarter down to the clutch, and Darren Sproles obviously fumbles the football, and they missed it. They said that he was down by contact, and the Packers ended up with the ball on the bottom, and they said that they couldn't figure out who was on the bottom with the ball in the first place. The referees are not on our side, but what I look at is, the defense. Just a lot of the communication, it seemed like, between the cornerbacks and the safeties, especially on the 80-yard bomb to the rookie from Drew Brees, and he was on the 45-yard line of the Packers, wide open, within 15 yards. Nobody even close. So Sam Shields and the safety there, I don't know who it was at the time. I don't think it was Woodson.
No, it wasn't.
Total communication issues. So the Packers, and they have such young talent, in the secondary. I wonder if Dom Capers is putting maybe a little bit too much pressure on the secondary. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a little pressure on him. I mean, you can tell he's expecting them to perform a lot. There's a lot that they have to do. Dom Capers likes to run an offense that there's a lot going on with.
Most definitely. And they're still waiting to peak, so it will take that time for them to mature and until they're perfect for playing. So, still need a little time to wait on them.
How about James Jones, though? Kind of becoming that, quote-unquote elite receiver of our team.
Very proud of James
Greg
Jones.
Jennings going down. He's looked really, really good, and I'm happy for him. He's always had a problem catching the ball, Butterfingers.
I agree.
Well, we move from the Pack, who are in the NFC North, to a big NFC North game this weekend as well. The Vikings and the Lions. The Vikings pick up a big win, and who would have thunk? They sit at the top of the division in the NFC North. Noe, what do you take away from that game?
Very surprising. It's the Lions, so who really knew what was going to come out of it? But I am very proud of the Vikings. Obviously, I'm a Packers fan, as you can all see. But, Percy Harvin with his 105-yard run after the turn punt, he has so much versatility as a Vikings player. He's capable of so much. Christian Ponder finally showing us what he has. Look, we're ready. We're prepared. Look out, here we come. One of the big things Leslie Frazier said this weekend, I love how hard our guys are playing. they're in and out every day, doing what they need to do. So they're doing a really great job this season so far.
Yeah, and along with that, with the special teams just going off, returning punts and kick returns, we also saw another big game by Adrian Peterson with 102 yards. I mean, he had an ACL injury this last season.
Yep.
He's come back and he's been playing very well this whole season so far. I mean, at least I think so. Along with Ponder too. I mean, obviously the Vikings and stuff. I'm not really a big fan, but I've always liked the young teams when they come up.
Good for them.
Yeah,
Good for
exactly.
The versatile players, you see that a lot.
Yeah.
You see it with Percy Harvin, and the Packers kind of got one of their own in Randall Cobb.
Yes.
Who you
Yes.
see coming out of the backfield now, as well as catching passes, as well as being in the return game. I would like to focus on how the Vikings are winning, but I'm going to go how the Lions are losing. Their defense is nowhere to be found. Van den Bosch and Ndamukong Suh, who are two they've had a treacherous season so far.
Yeah.
They're not getting pressure on the quarterbacks. Teams are just scorching their secondary. The Lions are not the team that we thought they were. And then all of a sudden, Kelvin Johnson comes down. He had a little bit of cramping. It might have been something in his knee. Who knows? If he goes down, that offense and that defense and that whole entire team, it's not going to be a pretty rest of the year. Last night, Monday Night Football. May have been one of the worst games that we've ever seen Tony Romo play. Can this guy ever buy a break? It doesn't seem like it. But the Bears' defense trounced the Cowboys last night. Noey?
I agree. It definitely was the Bears D that won the game. As for Tony Romo, is it Romo or is it the offensive line? It's kind of a toss-up between those two, but I definitely think there are a lot of problems that they need to work with. Their running game, they don't have one. Their wide receivers, I'm sorry, they're a bunch of knuckleheads that need some work. But, not to get too controversial, but I think they have a lot of work to do, and it's everyone that needs to do it. And Romo, of course, but the O-line especially.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just tough for Romo. Like, he always comes in these situations and stuff happens to him, and you want to blame him. I mean, I did. What you talked about, the offensive line, there's a lot going on there. But not to give it away from the Chicago Bears defense.
Yep.
Yes.
Since 2004, they forced the most turnovers with 280, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and they lead the league again this year.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you just got to feel bad for Romo, but you just got to play a little
Give him
better.
props. I mean, the stat line for Romo says he threw one touchdown for over 300 yards. He actually threw three, two of them. The second one, where it looked like maybe it was a fumble or a flea flicker or a shovel crease.
We don't know what that was.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. It just did not look good.
No.
Yeah.
Their offense didn't look good. DeMarco Murray is a lot better than what he showed last night. And then when you go to the Bears offense, you look and see how Jay Cutler, I would like to say he picked apart the defense. On that last touchdown of the game, there wasn't a guy within 10 to 15 yards of that seam for that touchdown.
Yeah.
And then you see the reemergence of Matt Forte coming off of the injury of the high ankle sprain. I don't know how high it was. Normally that's like a month to 2 month injury. He came off and he seemed like he can produce, here in the future.
Yes, definitely.
So we had the Monday Night Football, we had the Packers, we had the Lions, the Vikings. What was your big story of the NFL weekend that you took away?
My big story, it's not a specific story. I just want to talk about, in general, the 49ers and how well they did this weekend. I know it was against the Jets, 34-0. We all know how awful of a game that was. But I just want to say how great of a job they're doing this season. They're up there in the top 4 right now, along with the Houstons, the Falcons. But, overall, I think they played great this weekend, and they're on their way to the top.
There you go.
What do you think?
I agree with what you said about the 49ers. What I saw this whole weekend that was big for me is going back to Romo, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
How can you avoid it?
I know, how can you not? I mean, 5 interceptions. One of them I will give away. It hit Ogletree in the chest.
Oh, yeah.
He should have caught that one.
Yeah, I
mean,
hear you.
Which is... It's not really his fault.
Story of his life.
Yeah, I mean, they should make stats for those, I think.
True.
Yeah.
I'm going to take away this. Drew Brees tying Johnny Unitas for 47 consecutive NFL games with a touchdown pass. That's awesome. That's incredible. That's an incredible stat.
Really.
And